being the guest speaker, so we now get to relax a bit. So I'd like to invite the grads to do that. Some of you don't look like you've taken a breath since the procession started. You guys all right? Good. I was asking somebody out in the foyer how many grads there were this year, and they told me something, nearly 200. And I just find that absolutely amazing. Because when I went to Hassan Senior Secondary in the late 60s, we used to hold the grad ceremonies in the change rooms of the pool. I mean, those were not big classes. You may have recognized that song that we played right a moment ago, or a bit of it, which already told you one thing about me. We know the guest speakers crowd in 40. But the reason that I wanted to listen to a little bit about that was I wonder how many of us have taken the time to appreciate what that theme from Beauty and the Beast is all about. That song is about transformation. It's about change. And I thought maybe we could spend a few minutes talking about that. I know, oh my God, not another speech about change. Haven't I had enough already? Well, I want to take a little different approach here, if we could. Now, when John Gilmore and Michelle asked if I'd come and talk to you, it was John I was talking to. I said, well, what do you want me to talk about? He said, well, tell them a little bit about yourself, tell them how well they've done, congratulate them, give them some words of wisdom. I had no trouble with the first part of that. The words of wisdom part threw me right off, though. Let's see what we can do. Let's see what we can do here. I want to tell you a number of things that I hope will help you in your future. I'm sure they will. If there's one single thing I think that's going to affect your life from now on, it is change. It's change. This world of ours is changing faster now than it ever has, and it's really important, I think, that you develop and continue to develop the skills you need to operate in that kind of a world. Because you see, the world doesn't wait and slow down for people. For it the term, you snooze, you lose. Man, it's true. It's truer now than it's ever been. Consider the changes, if you will, for a moment, that have just happened in the last few years while you've been in high school. We saw the Berlin Wall come down. We saw the world come together and kick a little butt in the Mideast. We saw one of the largest countries in the world and its entire economic system collapse. Is that change? Oh, you bet it is. And more recently, of course, we've seen some of the worst urban unrest this century in Los Angeles. This world is changing so fast it will take your breath away at times. Up till now, you've only had to read newspapers or watch television or listen to the radio to kind of keep up with these changes, but now, guess what? You get to be a participant. But I'll tell you something, I really envy you people, because you're about to take this step, this huge step into our world at an incredible time, an extremely exciting time, and you ought to be damn thrilled about that. Let me back up for a second here. Your parents, myself included, are products of the 50s and 60s. In fact, I'm probably one of the few people around who can actually remember the 60s. You can recognize people who grew up in the 60s because they had this kind of blank expression. They kind of look like this. And that's the way they walk around. But you people are a product of one of the most exciting times in our history, and I do mean that. Now, Michelle mentioned that I went to Howe Senior Secondary, and that's true. It's back in the mid to late 60s. But I had to leave to get the training I needed to pursue my career and that kind of thing. And as it turned out, almost exactly 20 years came by before I came back here 3 years ago. Now, I'm going to jump ahead for a second. Stay with me. I want to tell you about a trend, about a huge trend that's very significant. It's been taking place the last few years. This trend is called cashing out. And I only mention that because it's part of the reason for my return to Squamish. And this trend, which is showing, by the way, no signs of slowing down at all, is going to open up a world of opportunity for you people in the next few years. Maybe even less than that. What we're seeing is a huge number of executive and middle management people with $50,000, $60,000 a year jobs moving to smaller rural areas to start their own small businesses. And I mean, they're doing this by the hundreds, all over North America, by the thousands. It's absolutely amazing. Now you may think, not a bit of a cop-out? Well, no, it's not. No, it's not. And I'll tell you why it's not. It's part of an even bigger trend that marketing people, they gave it a name. It's called cocooning. And what that means is that we're seeing, and your parents will back this up, I'm sure, we're seeing a lot more emphasis now being put on family, simpler lifestyle as opposed to the big bucks. So I guess in some ways, moving back to this gorgeous area we live in was my way of catching up. I want to share with you an experience that has everything to do with change, and it certainly caught me by surprise 3 years ago when I came back. After I'd been here a few weeks and sort of gotten to know everybody's name again and that sort of thing, I decided that I would drive by the school to see what had happened in the last 20 years. As I drove up, I looked at the school and I thought, something is strange here. I couldn't quite put my finger on it. Now, you got to remember that I've spent the last 20 years in broadcasting and marketing trying to understand and deal with the constant changes as they relate to the world in general, business in particular, and here I was in front of my old school 20 years later, and nothing had changed. The school was exactly the same. I thought, I can't believe this. Parked the car. I thought, I'm going in there. I got to see this. Opened the door and I looked down, and sure enough, it's exactly the same. I walked down the halls, the place looked the same, it smelled the same. John Gilmore was wearing the same cologne, for God's sake. Actually, it may have been perfume, I'm not sure. We weren't sure about John back in those days. But boy, I'll tell you what, for somebody who was used to a rapid change, that really was a shocker for me. Of course, what I didn't realize was the changes that had taken place within the system. And that's where the changes were. I couldn't see them, but they were there. Of course, very soon now we're going to see the school change in a physical way that's going to benefit the whole community. But let me get back to this catching out thing for just a moment. This trend, as I said before, is going to open up an awful lot of opportunity for you people. If all of these middle management type folks are walking away from their jobs for a simpler life in the country, who's going to take their place? Yeah, you got it, you are. You bet you are. These are, my friends, ever-changing times, and they're changing very quickly. The 1990s, share a little insight with you here if I could, the 1990s are being called the decency decade. I guess I already told you that in a way when I said we're returning to a better quality of life and lifestyle. Fact of the matter is, we're getting pretty tired of the way things have been, and people are just pretty fed up with it. We're tired of watching companies on search and destroy our natural resources missions. We're tired of corporate rat race. We're tired of processed food and preservatives, for God's sake. Over the next few years, and I doubt very much that we can take that long to get started because we're seeing it now, we're going to see a lot of new things. We're going to see a new morality, new religions, new food, new science, new medicine, new everything. And you people have to know that and be prepared for it. Now, how do we know all this? Well, let me put it a different way. Where do we look to try and figure out what's going to happen in the future? It sure as hell isn't in the past. That's a done deal. That's done. It's over with. That's behind us. Some people say history repeats itself. Well, yes, it does, but it doesn't do it often enough to be an accurate gauge to be able to tell us what our future is going to be like. Where do we look to figure out what's going to happen in the future? We look what's happening right now, this very moment in time. You see, that's what makes you people. That's what makes you people so important. You have all this hard-earned education behind you. Some of you are going to get more, I know, but regardless, we are going to look to you now to help us make the changes necessary to make this world a lot better place. We're going to look to your enthusiasm, your motivation, your brain power. And I really look forward to watching you people perform over the next few years. Graduates, I want to thank you very much for allowing me to be part of this very special time in your life. I envy you. I congratulate you. Have a fabulous time tonight and this weekend. You've earned it.
Speaker is a very special person at Howe Sound. She's a girl that was selected as the top student of the year. She's also selected as one of the top female athletes. And she's also one of our top artists. Very talented girl. She's been chosen as valedictorian, and it's Tiffany Howe.
Well, you guys, after years of living a life without worries or cares, it's time for us to leave our dear school and face the real cruel world. Not. Sure, it's easy for us to say that school's a breeze now that we've finished our exams and are patiently waiting for our adult lives to begin. But in reality, we had to struggle to get here. Every day was a challenge. And if you can't remember, well, maybe you should ask your parents. They're the ones that had to put up with our nervous fits to high school. They helped us grow out of that short-lived period of knowing everything about life and insisting that the world revolve around us. And they're the ones that allowed us to put all of our responsibilities aside as we made a final and desperate effort to pass our exams. Graduates, what I'm trying to say is that we've been involved in this real world for some time now. Whether it's been through overcoming certain roadblocks, accepting our failures, or just by voicing an opinion and making it heard, each one of us has grown into an individual with their own set of values, ideas, and visions of what success means to us. And so, friends, I don't have any authority to give you any sort of advice, but as a friend, I do have a vision to share with you. Follow your bliss. Joseph Campbell said it, and to me it means find that which is you. Find your purpose and follow through with unyielding passion. Life is open to each of us. The world is ours to shape and change and improve, but most importantly, to enjoy. To sum up what I've been saying, I'd like to leave you with a very inspirational, somewhat exciting, and somewhat of a different type of poem. The poet is Irving Layton, and the poem is Crazy Jack. Look out. I can go off any minute. My mind is full of radioactive material, my body of loose atoms. If you detonated me, an arm of mine would wipe out the longest street. My big toe oxidized the supermarket. I play with the idea of putting my head into a department store and watching it go off on the counter. The shoppers burst out of the windows. They're off to another world or another sale, draped in blue flame. Everyone's a Roman candle. The mobs of downtown Ville Marie blaze like post-Christmas candles. What an illumination. How I'd like to explode in front of an astonished world. What else is there to live for? Thank you.
And now John Gilmore will present the class of '92.
Susie Bubuick. Michael Lind. Balbir Vaikri. Rajvinder Dillon. Hardeep Puni. Kirsty Barnes. Deborah Robinson. Chris Ramsey. Rebecca Billy. Robin Franklin. Chris Packard. Tiffany Poole. Jason Atchison. Michelle McEwen. George Jan. Azima Basha. Stephen Traxell. Tracy Begg. Richard Billy. Rhonda Bowman. Sean Lawrence. Jody Breckenridge. Arminder Gill. Jennifer Brown. Moira Cameron. Casey Wood. Wendy DeVent. Nikki Giese. Cool Beer Baines. Watch 'em, girls, watch 'em, kid. Cool Beer burned rubber last night coming down the track. Well done, Cool Beer. Linda Furby. Ray Christensen. Connie Fraser. Rory McCord. Anita Gamba. Mark Vanden Magdenberg. Karen Hare. Nyang Nagoyan. Jason Bissett. Celeste Hopkins. Larry Granger. Kirsten Howells. Deirdre Osborne. Up, Deirdre. Whoops. Chris Billy. Monique Buckmeister. Sally Winstanley. science. Amy Clark. Travis Line. Tyler Cook. Nathan Webb. Amanda Moorman. Andy Sanga. Marcy Drenka. Dan Foreman. Maurice Martin. Richard Ray. Richard can't hear me, but well done, Richard. Debbie Morris. Jeff Sale. Baljit Niter. Darren Collins. Heather Ostrom. Roger Duarte. Kathy Otway. Jeff Martin. Lisette Paquet. Alan Phillips. Tina Perot. Eric Halverson. Christina Kilonen. Michael Huska. Nicole Ladour. Aaron Hurd. Gina McCarthy. Andrew Griffin. Ginny McDonald. Lisa Marshall. Thomas Bushhouse. Nicole McElroy.
Bravo.
Sandy Sanga. Gushan Parmar. Gurminder Sangha. Eric Harvey. Jana Rumming. Philip Lacossiere. Reagan Pichet. Jason Ram. Jennifer Ramsey. Thomas Magnuson. Sheila Renville. Lisa Rudolph. Todd Dubber. Leanne Ross. Andrew Riker. Rachel Tala. Dan Lantern. Janet Anderson. Monica Schwartz. David Gebhardt. Kati Rukayin. Holger Schulze. Rashpal Sagir. Wayne Davis. Kuldeep Sangha. Monty Walsh. Amy Scott. Stephen Lucas. Jennifer Scans. Hum Nguyen. Tara Smith. Matthew Kinnair. Heather Sargent. Bradley Poole. Wendy Taylor. Clint Fitzsimmons. Rashpal Tatey. Brian Robertson. Sarah Tishaw. Rob Lonsdale.